A dilutant?
Dilute his votes or
Yes.
split the votes between
Yes,
you and him.
that's what a dilutant is.
So some people are saying that you're put up by the establishment to join the race so that you could dilute Mr. George Goh's votes. What do you have to say about that?
I'm a concentrate, not a dilutant. A concentrate means I'm the real stuff and I want to win. I feel that my candidacy is important for Singapore. I have no political affiliation. I do not and did not belong to any political party. So I bring a balance to the governance of Singapore, as the head of state is separate from the government, from the ruling party.
Yeah.
I think this is a balance that we have not had since the elected president. I have the competence to do the job of the president in terms of safeguarding our reserves, because I've spent 45 years of my life investing our reserves and building up our reserves. So I'm in a unique position. And also I've been 45 years in the public service. And one of the president's key roles is to ensure the integrity of our public service. So I think I'm in a good position to also uphold the integrity of the public service. So I feel that I'm eminently qualified to be president, not just to come in to dilute somebody's vote. No, this is much more serious. I wouldn't want to go through this campaign which would involve sacrifice, some suffering on my part, just to be a dilutant. Makes no sense.
So you spoke about being in it to win it, right? I think it's safe to say that before last week, most Singaporeans probably didn't know who you were. What do you think your chances are against someone who's been in the public eye for way longer, like DPM Tharman?
Yes, I'm less known to the people of Singapore, although internationally I am as well known because of my work at the GIC. But what matters is that the people of Singapore should know me. When I was working in the public service, I stayed away from the limelight. I concentrated on my work. I was not a politician. So I start with a disadvantage. You might call me an underdog. An underdog is not a bad place to be in, because the underdog can only win. So I hope to convince the people of Singapore that I'm a superior candidate. So I think I stand a pretty good chance if I can explain to the people of Singapore what are my reasons for standing as president and what I hope to do as president.
Do you think you're better qualified than DPM Tharman to safeguard the reserves?
DPM Tharman and I come with different qualifications. When he was Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, he was a member of the Board of Directors, which was chaired by Mr. Lee Kuan Yew and then by Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. But I was the Group Chief Investment Officer. I was responsible for formulating the recommendations on investment strategy, and I have to go before the board and to persuade the board to approve the recommendations. And after they have approved the recommendations, I make it work in the markets. So I would say both of us are equally competent to do the job of safeguarding the reserves, but each from a different experience and a different perspective.
So one of the differentiators then would be you've never been affiliated with any political party.
Yes.
One of the potential candidates, Mr. George Goh, he's mentioned that about himself as well.
Yes.
So what do you think you can bring to the table that's different from what Mr. George Goh can bring?
You know, if you look at the three of us, we are who we are. Mr. Tharman's qualifications is that of a policy maker, a politician. Mr. George Goh is a businessman. I'm a public service officer with particular expertise in the investment of our reserves. So we all have different attributes, you know. It is who we are. And so what is important is for the Presidential Elections Commission to decide whether each one of us meets up to the stringent criteria to be deemed eligible for standing as president.
And you're confident that you'll meet the eligibility criteria?
You see, I am submitting my application on what we call the deliberative track. It's not automatic qualification. Tharman, because of his experience as a minister, he qualifies automatically. If I were the CEO of the GIC, I would also qualify automatically. I was the Group Chief Investment Officer.
Yeah.
And I think in my understanding, the Chief Investment Officer is the equivalent of the Chief Executive. But that is something which the Presidential Elections Commission has got to decide on.